Attention, due to the nature of the films discussed, the Civil Gore podcast may contain adult language and themes.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 83 of the Civil Gore podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Wilford Brimley. Listening to the Civil Gore podcast is the right thing to do, and the right way to do it.
Or you might get diabetes.
Yes. Sorry, Tim was not prepared for that, I'm sure. But yes, of course, this is the obnoxious Brian, Tim's co-host.
Yeah.
But I figured I'd stump him a little bit.
So, we have our Christmas season coming up, and Hanukkah season, and whatever.
Yes, it's actually middle of Hanukkah, and you just reminded me I did not do my candles yet, so I have to do that immediately after this podcast. I know.
Ooh.
I was supposed to do it. I was saying I'm on a streak of 3 for 3. I can't lose it now.
Yeah, this season has snuck up on me. We got a lot of shopping done, but man, I don't have any decorations out. It's rained every weekend. I haven't been able to put my lights out. It's been kind of a bummer.
Well, you do such a good job at Halloween, so it kind of and then the fact that it was so close, like everything, and I tell you, I still swearing by this thing that Thanksgiving, when it's early, messes everybody up.
Yeah, it really does. But we did get our tree up. We always get a live tree every year. Ever since the kids have gotten a little older, and we made that a tradition to go get a live tree. So we got that up the day after Thanksgiving and went and got it decorated. So that at least we had that part done.
There you go.
So yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the holiday season. I hope you guys out there are. And we're going to start our season of Christmas horror, of course. With a pretty good one, I think, this week, Brian. This is one of the first, probably the first, like, real Christmas horror movies that I ever had any experience with, other than, like, the classics, you know, Gremlins and Silent Night, Deadly Night, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, like, sort of like the modern era Christmas horror with Krampus and that kind of stuff. This was probably the first one I was exposed to.
Yeah, see, and I don't think I knew about it until I saw it in, you know, that it had some, it's interesting, like, I guess box art is the key. It's whatever what Amazon Prime shows the cover art. Yeah. And it always just looked interesting. I'm like, and the title does not really lend itself to knowing that it's a holiday, other than it says that's why they probably added that subtitle. Isn't it like A Christmas Tale or something? Yeah,
because it originally came out just as rare exports. There was no subtitle.
Right, and people are probably like, what is this, you know? But it actually is, and it's, so, but the imagery always like kind of like called to me, and I was like, what an interesting cover art on this. So I'm glad we finally got to watch it, and I really liked it. But we'll obviously talk about that more later. But yeah, this was a really nice surprise. It was really good.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's get right to it. This is our first chop. Okay, so Brian, it's kind of a bittersweet day because I finished my alphabet project. But it's kind of good because it's right here at the end of the year. It's right before we take our Christmas break. So yeah, it's kind of a good time to wrap it up.
You could start gearing up for your next project of next year.
Yeah, I got to think of something. If you guys can think of some good horror project for me to do, let me know. I'm still continuing away on the backlog project. I'm really cranking through. I'm about down to 7 discs left. So that's going to be completed very, very shortly. But
yeah, it would really be fun if I tried a backlog project, because I think I would probably finish it somewhere in the year 2024.
Yeah, it would be like episode 5,000.
Yeah, it'd be our Tim's kids taking over the podcast.
Or their grandkids, maybe.
Yeah, right.
So this one was Z is for Zombie, of course. Now,
surprise.
Yeah. Now, Zombie is the original title for this film. It is not the Fulci Zombie that I talked about a week or two ago. This one was originally called Zombie. It's from 1971, but it's better known by its name, I Eat Your Skin, which is kind of a weird, gross title to me. But
it's kind of like what zombies do.
Yeah,
so
I guess. I just kind of thought of them like being delicate and like just taking the skin. No, I don't want the muscle. I don't want the fat. Just give me a little skin off the top.
Well, the skin is the best part, with a turkey or a chicken.
That's true.
You roast a pig. I mean, come on. It's like, that's the best one, especially when it crisps up. Not that these zombies probably take the time to cook. But...
No, these definitely do not. I wish I could say I saved the best for last. I might have actually saved the worst for last. This one it's black and white. and which is kind of odd for 1971 anyway. I'm assuming this is 1971. That's what Amazon said, but Amazon does some weird things with their dates. So if I got that wrong, forgive me.
Yeah, and they don't tell. Apparently, as we learned on Kim and Ket, I don't know if you heard, they don't even like tell you if it's a rated version or an unrated version because apparently they got messed up on the Wicker Man. Yeah.
So I Eat Your Skin. So what happens in this one is there's this Playboy writer, and this guy is like the ultimate ladies man. He opens, he's sitting by the pool chatting up the ladies, very suave, and his agent asks him to come to this tropical island, which is actually named Voodoo Island, by the way. And
that's inviting.
And it sounds like something off Scooby-Doo, but
it does.
He says, I want you to come down here and research it and write a book based on this, which was kind of weird because this guy is like an adventure writer, so he writes like a lot of romance and stuff into his novels and things. So it was kind of weird why he's going down here to do like a zombie novel or whatever. But so the guy's like, there's no way I'm going down there when I've got all these beautiful babes out by the swimming pool that I can chat with. And he's like, oh, well, there's native women who haven't seen men in forever because they all got wiped out in a hurricane or something. All the men got wiped out in a hurricane. So there's like 5 women to every guy. So he's like, sweet, I'm on board. And they hop in a plane.
The hurricane just wiped out the men?
Yeah, like they all went out like fishing or something, and like supposedly. Anyway, I don't know, maybe his agent was just telling him that. But so they get on this plane, and up until this point, it's like almost like a comedy. Like he's supposed to be kind of played for laughs, that he's like this ladies' man, and it's like this weird. How the music doesn't match up right, and it's really bizarre. It's almost like they're trying to make it a comedy. I don't know what they were trying to. It's almost like a Gilligan's Island in Zombieland. And so he gets to the island, and then he realizes that it's overrun by zombies. There's a doctor there who's trying to do a cancer cure, and he's accidentally created these zombies. Now these have got to be one of the worst zombies I've ever seen on film. They're basically people with, it looks like 2 fried eggs were placed over their eyes. So like they have like these bug eyes that look like fried eggs, like just plastered over their eye sockets. And that's the zombies. And they kind of walk around. I mean, I'll give them credit. They don't look like every other movie zombie, but
and they're slow zombies, I assume.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
back then this was the slow.
It's complete schlock. It's ridiculous. I can't recommend it. It's it is what it is. So
well, at least you ended in style.
I guess. I don't know. So yeah, can't recommend Zombie, aka I Eat Your Skin. It is on Amazon Prime under the title Zombie, but you really have to search for it, because if you search Amazon Prime for Zombie, you get like 500 zombie movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There it is. Alphabet Project has ended on an ungraceful note, but oh well.
But if you look at the positive, right? It didn't like thwart your thriving to finish like in the middle, like it could, like if it was a bad movie really in the middle. And now it kind of whets your appetite for something bigger and better for your next project.
Right. Yeah, I got to do something a little more, I don't know, maybe a little more structured, where I can like really maybe focus on a certain director or a certain decade or something. I'll have to think about it. That sounds pretty cool. Now, this next one is not really horror related.
No, but it's Civil Gore family related.
Civil Gore family. You guys know my brother Kevin. He was on the Maximum Overdrive episode and listens to the podcast. He got cast as the lead in a production of the Santaland Diaries, which is, of course, the David Sedaris, based off the David Sedaris essay about his time working as a Christmas elf at the Macy's department store. And this was turned into a comedic play, and it has run in Wilmington for this will be the 14th year, I believe. Yeah,
I saw that. I saw the news clip where Kev and the director were interviewed. Yeah, and they said it's 14 years running. That's amazing.
Yeah, so they've had it. It's almost become like a Wilmington tradition. So he got tapped to play this, and this is one of those roles that you don't audition for, really. Like, you get chosen to play this role every year, and they always pick a different person to play Crumpet, who is the lead character, and it really is a one-man show. They do have like some choir people that come on and do like little song snippets between, but it's basically a 1-hour monologue that he had to memorize. It's just incredibly impressive that he landed this gig and then memorized all these lines to do this play. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going tomorrow, so by the time you guys listen to this, I'll have already seen it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear. I hope you get a video somehow of this thing. I would love to say. I was so bummed I could not. We just couldn't find a way to get down there to see it.
Yeah, they usually record these for like cast members and stuff, and I'm sure Kevin will be able to get a copy of it. So
yeah, because yeah. For those that don't know Kevin, though, it's like you hang out with him for 5 minutes, and you're usually like in tears, hysterically laughing because he just can go into these characters, and it's like he becomes the character. So this kind of role to me just seems like perfection for him. It's like a perfect match.
Yeah,
you know?
It really is. I can't wait.
Oh God, yeah, no, I can't wait to hear all about it. And yeah, because I gave him a quick call yesterday just to wish him, told him to break a leg, and he seemed like he just seemed so excited for it. So I'm so happy for him, and it's so of course
I don't know if you guys
we're right behind him.
You guys that have not gone to a lot of theater or don't know somebody in theater, it is really a thankless job because I say thankless. It's not completely thankless, but for the amount of work they put in, because they're unpaid, they're giving up their evenings, they're giving up their weekends, all to memorize lines and perform a play that maybe will run a weekend or 2 weekends max. So maybe 6 performances if it's a big play. And they're giving up months of their life. And if you just think about like spending every night in rehearsal, every weekend in rehearsal, just to do like a 6-night play. It's a big deal. Like my hat's off to anybody that does theater work. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, no, my sister-in-law does it too, and she's Julie's sister. She does a fantastic job. I was lucky to get to see 2 of her plays. She's in one now actually, and I think it ends right before we get out there. So I'm kind of bummed, but yeah. So and she does the same thing. And so just imagine though, it's like you come home from work and you've had a long day and you're exhausted and you don't even want to like spend the extra effort to make dinner. Imagine just then at first just going in and now having to give it your all, and that just the mental capacity to now put yourself into this probably like 3 to 4 hour session of practice.
Right.
Especially
you really something you've done multiple times. How boring is that? You've done this you've run through this play 40 times and you have to go out there and perform it again when you don't really feel like it. It's incredible what these actors go through. So
yeah, hats off, of course, from us to them. So so break a leg, Kev. Even though you've already have broken. Yeah, you've already broken it by the time this airs.
Now, Brant, I'm really looking forward to your review of Mandy because I did not get a chance to watch it this weekend like I wanted to.
Yeah, so all right. So now that makes this a little tricky. I was hoping you had watched it so we could really talk about it. I don't want to go into too many details because this actually it's kind of blew me away. This movie, it was so different than what I thought. I'm going to try and be vague, but detailed enough just to get the feel of it. It's very mesmerizing. That's that guy, remember Cosmatos or whatever his name is? Like that is the director. He's got that really cool name that we kind of were laughing at that one time. But it's just really like the visuals are astounding. It's very like, there's a lot of like dreamy imagery and just really like cool visuals. And, of course, Nick Cage, or as now some people know him as Ick Age, goes by he just goes full Nick Cage in spots, but he also has like he's also at some points where he doesn't say a line for a while, but it's just I'm just gonna say this because I don't want to give any like specific things away because this film should be seen in its entirety without knowing much because it will literally blow you away. It was that good. And Nick Cage is, as awesome as he always is, I think he takes it up another level in this one.
Nice.
And even with probably less lines than he normally has in a movie. He's usually very verbose in his movies. Yeah. He doesn't have as many lines as I expected. Like I expected when I heard the description that he's just going to be like total like, crazy Nick Cage just spouting out craziness. But he does a lot of it's done like with physical stuff, and just the movie it's so good at its own, and so he's almost like a great bonus in it. I cannot recommend this more, especially now that it's on Shudder, and so anyone with Shudder subscription like try and watch this as soon as possible. It's just really, really cool. I plan to watch it again. I just didn't have time. So, but I'll probably watch it again over the weekend. It was that good.
I think he's one of those actors that's ripe for a comeback. Sort of like, you know, like what Tarantino did for John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. Like, I feel like Nicolas Cage needs that perfect role that he can be like non-crazy and be like come back and like win an Oscar for. Like, he gets the right director and the right role, and he just does some like bang up awesome job and somehow like makes this big career comeback. I would love to see that. Not that he's
in that Lovecraft one. Yeah, he's in that.
Yeah.
He's got the role in that Lovecraft thing coming out. But there's nothing like he's one of those people that I'll just watch it because he's in it.
Yeah,
you know, so he has that advantage. And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. It's like you see a Nick Cage movie, and you're automatically going to give it some attention, whether you.
It's
you know,
weird. He's like become a cult movie actor. Like
he has.
Like, he's not like box office success. Like, he's not that level of star, but it's like he's almost like a cult actor. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like he's like the fans love him,
and he's been in every type of genre you can imagine. Really,
yeah.
I mean, it's
quite
really
an unusual career. It really is.
It is. I mean, and it's almost like, you know what it is, because he's almost has his own. Like, he's become one of those things where you could say it's a Nick Cage movie and people are going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know? And it doesn't mean that he's necessarily in it, because he could be in movies that aren't Nick Cage movies. You know? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like he's one of those guys that you could say that about. And so, but yeah. I know I feel like I'm cheating you guys on the review of this, but trust me, it's for your own benefit, because I think you want to be completely, like, immersed in this without knowing much. So,
all right. Well, I have a rare book review here. So I went to the library a couple weeks ago with the kids, and I was kind of looking around just for something to look. I got enough books to read, good Lord knows, but I decided to look for this book because I had seen it mentioned on the Shockwaves Horror Book Club on Facebook, and it was called A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. Or Tremblay, I don't know how he pronounces his last name, but
probably Tremblay, actually, right?
Maybe,
I would
Who
think
knows?
It's Canadian, I think. So,
but he wrote this book, and I was blown away by this book. It's phenomenal. So the book is about a girl named Mary. Basically, she's actually grown up, and she's talking to someone and kind of telling the story in flashbacks of her childhood, growing up with her older sister, who her family believed was possessed by a demon, and had a reality show filmed around her sister and her exorcism. Huh. So imagine if Reagan from Exorcist had a little sister and had grown up and was telling you through the narration about her experiences in the Exorcist house. Is kind of what this is like.
It reminds me of like Your Neighbors Are Dead, but like a serious version.
Yeah,
of it.
But it's actually very serious, and Paul Tremblay makes no joke about the Exorcist comparisons and stuff. Like, that's built into the story. They're like, yeah, we know there's Exorcist, and we know that, and he names all kinds of possession movies and things in here. So it's like, it's very relevant to pop culture.
So it's like meta kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's so good, but it's actually very, very creepy. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's a phenomenal book, and it is not at all like what you would expect from a like demon possession book. So don't go into it thinking, oh, great, another Exorcist ripoff. It's not that at all. It's very, very, very cool. And I'm praying somebody picks up the movie rights for this and makes a found footage of this.
I was going to say, this sounds like it's so ripe for that.
My gosh,
it sounds so perfect for that, you know. Almost kind of reminds me of something like with that that vampire one I saw where it was like the found footage vampire movie like that.
Yeah. I mean, because it's built into the story. They literally made a reality show of this girl's possession, so you could just show that as part of the movie, the footage that they did. Oh my God,
that'd be really cool.
Yeah. And he's got another book out called, I keep wanting to say Cabin in the Woods. It's Cabin something. I'll have to look it up, but he's just look up Paul Tremblay, you'll see. And I've got that one already on Kindle, so I'm going to read that one next because I was blown away by this one, so I'm sure his other books are going to be great too.
Nice.
Next up, Brian, Create Your Killer has been funded. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so that's our friend of the show, Sarah Gierschke. You know, we've mentioned her before. She did the Sargad.
Yeah, I've butchered her name before.
Yes, we have butchered her name. Yeah, she co-hosts the Bitches of Horror podcast. And so, yeah, she had a Kickstarter. Well, it was on Indiegogo, but I guess same thing, a Kickstarter, right? And she was trying to get her movie funded, and it has been funded, which is good news. It looks really cool. So I'll read a little synopsis. It says, Create Your Killer is a humorous, gory celebration of both video games and slasher films from the 80s, with a few horror icons from the 70s thrown in for good measure. So that sounds right up our alley.
Yeah,
I think
so.
So that sounds really good. And yeah, it's cool because they have a whole bunch of like character posters where it's like player 1 and it shows all the different people in it and it has a little description on it. So you should check out on their Facebook page, Create Your Killer, and you can get a whole bunch of cool information on it. So I'm glad it got funded because I know she's a very talented filmmaker. So this will be really exciting to follow up on. So I think it's slated to be finished. I think the campaign, they said it was should be released by the end of next year, I think. So we'll keep you posted on that. And but definitely check it out on Facebook. You can get a good link, and it takes you to the project page, which is still active even though it's been funded. But you get a lot of good information there, and you see like a little video and stuff like that. So
nice.
Definitely check that out.
Next up, you also finished the Purge TV series, one I have not started yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Julie and I, we it was funny, over the weekend we were just like, we had watched the first couple episodes and we're trying to clear off the DVR and we're like, you know what, let's just watch this. We hadn't seen it in about a month or so since we had him on there, and we decided to try to kind of binge it. And it was funny. We didn't intentionally go to binge it. We were just going to watch 1 or 2 episodes, but it got really engaging to the point of where we're like, next thing we know, we're like down to the last 2 episodes on one night. And we're like, let's just finish it. And it's kind of funny because we both ended up liking it as a whole, but we're both kind of in agreement. It might have just been possibly 1 or 2 episodes too long. It really stretched it out. I mean, it was still good, but I mean, you think about it, used to seeing a Purge movie, it was just like under 2 hours. So this is stretched out to 10 hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was a lot of characters, and not to give a spoiler, but they all end up having kind of something in common. So there's a build up to it. So it does build to an exciting conclusion, and it does set up for the season 2. The performances are great in it, and it's funny because it's on USA, right? But it's not really edited, so there's profanity flying all over. There's tons of gore. It's not like you don't feel cheated out of it being a TV show by any means. But it's definitely worth the watch. It's got really good plot lines in it. Like I said, maybe 1 or 2 episodes too long. It's debatable, because of the way we watched it, but I don't know. But it's definitely a really cool thing, and I just love the whole series. And it's kind of cool because it kind of the ending of this one kind of teases for the second season, kind of something that you may, which I won't say what though, but kind of teases something which you may have wondered by watching the other movies and stuff. You may say like, well, I wonder if this would happen, and it kind of teases that might be where it's going.
And has it already been picked up for a second season?
Yes, the second season, I believe, has already been picked up. I think they said there was already I don't know if it started shooting yet, but I think it's supposed to be slated for next August to come out. So
okay, cool. Yeah, then, Brian, this next one you were telling me about, Pluto TV. I have not had a chance to try this out yet.
Yeah, so I don't know how long this has been around, so we could be talking about this, and people are like, yeah, duh, But it was funny. My friend Dom had noticed it. I guess he noticed it on his Samsung TV, because it's apparently something like Samsung TVs had the app for, I think as long as you had it in the last few years or something, you could get this app downloaded. But I had it on the Fire Stick, so anyone with a Fire Stick can get it too. But there's also an app I noticed on iPads, free app. And it's a free service too, so it's a streaming service. It's like over 100 channels of content. There's a couple of horror channels in there. There's a whole bunch of music channels. There's like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 and a Riff Tracks channel. Cool. There's like a wrestling channel. Yeah, it's very like genre and topic specific channels, but it's all free. Like I don't think it's cord cutting worthy yet. Like I don't think you could just live off of this.
Right? Yeah, it's sort of like Crackle or all those other like streaming.
Yeah, it's like that level. Yeah. But there's definitely a lot of great content on it. They even have the Fireplace channel, the Holiday Fireplace channel currently right now, where you literally just turn it on. It's like a Yule log. but but it's definitely really cool. I spent about an hour just going through the stuff, and it's got some movie channels. I believe it has some movies you can actually download on demand too for free. So I mean, I remember it seems like Black Swan is always on, but yeah, so definitely check that out, especially because it's free and it does not cost you a dime, and it's I guess it's legal. It's an official app, and it's right on the Fire Stick as in their apps. So yeah, so check that out because you never know what you'll find on there. So and especially if you like Mystery Science Theater and Riff Tracks, you got 2 channels basically worth of it. And they had Tourist Trap on the other day.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, my friend Dom was telling me, he's like, they have this weird movie on here called Tourist Trap. I'm like, weird movie? Everyone knows that. It's a cult classic. Yeah.
Oh, next up, some M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong news.
Yeah, it really is it's not good news.
Not good news. Tell us about that one.
No. So apparently, it always comes down. It's always why we can't have nice things. These rights issues. Oh. So supposedly there were some rights issues that were really a pain. And actually, one of our followers on Twitter kind of jumped in when I retweeted this and said, yeah, he compared the rights to this IP like a minefield, basically. So it sounds like it's even worse possibly than Friday the 13th. And he had a Tales from the Crypt show, which we all know, we're big fans of Tales from the Crypt, and our good friend the Crypt Keeper comes on every once in a while to make his appearance known that he's still alive and well, just waiting for his new job. But yeah, so apparently M. Night Shyamalan's Tales from the Crypt series is listed as right now dead in the water, which is never a good sign. That does not sound. It's not Lady in the Water. It's Dead in the Water.
Yeah.
So it's
but that sucks. That really does.
Yeah,
suck.
because I was looking forward for a more modern, especially with Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone, and I was like, imagine we're getting a new Twilight Zone and a new Tales from the Crypt.
I thought this was done. I thought this was a done deal. The way they talked it up, it's like
yeah.
Although they still haven't taken my idea has not died yet that I told you about, Brian, which is my Jordy Verrill Chia Pet.
That's right. That is still up there. That's still available. That's still available for the picking. Yeah, we need to have that. Especially, and they should have a little sound box in there where he goes meteor shit. Yeah. So we need that.
We make it even a Christmas ornament, like a Chia Christmas ornament.
Oh,
Jordy
yeah.
Verrill, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then you hit another button, it goes, "Oh, Jordy, you lunkhead." Yeah, come on, we need that. Speaking of that, I did get my Creepshow box set from Scream Factory as an early holiday present, because we exchanged with my mom and stepdad because they were going to be away earlier, so we did our little exchange, and so I ended up getting that in matinee in terms of the horror Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah, I was excited about that. We'll go into more of the holiday hauls once we're all done with the holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. And then this last one I'm really looking forward to. You, of course, got to see our friend David Howard Thornton at Wintercon, and I want to hear all about it. You haven't actually told me much about it yet, just the pictures.
Yeah, so it was great. Wintercon was at the Resorts World Casino, which is like one of those like racinos. It's right by JFK. I've been there a couple times for the casino. I didn't even know they had this floor, literally, that they housed this convention on. It was like the top floor. It was like I didn't even know this existed. So you know what? I figured, of course, I wanted to get to see David in person because we had the great interview with him, and we always interact with him through social media. So I had to go meet him there. And so we went. So a little bit about the con first. It's definitely not a horror con. It was definitely more on science fiction and comic book, which of course that works for him as well because he did an excellent job as the Joker.
Right.
In the Nightwing Escalation series, and he did do a live Joker for me.
Oh, nice!
He actually did it more for Julie because I was kind of telling her, I was like, yeah, and he does the Joker for Nightwing, and so he did a live Joker impersonation, which just blew us away because it's even better in person. And so so the con itself had a lot of it was very Star Wars heavy, which I love, so that was good at that. And
that works.
Yeah, and they had the main stage was right in the center of this thing, right at the end of it, but in the center. So it's like you walk in and the first thing you see is a stage where they had a costume contest, and they had a weird Star Wars karaoke thing going on right when we walked in, which was a little odd. Huh. And but they had some really cool actual R2 units roaming around.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
Was kind of cool. Yeah, and they had a lot of good cosplay. There was a whole little Star Wars section of cosplay that were for kids. Basically, they had a little thing that adults and kids could ride. It was like a little land speeder thing that kind of looked like that toy that came out.
Yeah.
Remember like a couple years ago, but it was this time. It was modified for an adult that could go in it. So you could so I saw people driving around in that, which was kind of cool. And they had a lot of great like Star Wars cosplayers that would pose with the kids. It was really good. It was a con that was really great for families, I will say. Because I saw a lot of families there just enjoying it and stuff, which was kind of cool. Yeah, like you could have brought, you and Olivia could have brought the kids. You guys would have had a ball.
That's awesome.
Was that,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they had and there was a lot of Harry Potter stuff. They even had the 501st, the Legion that does the Stormtrooper stuff for charity. Yep. They were there. So it had a lot of cool stuff. The booths were decent. They had a lot of comic book artists, people doing commissions. And there's one thing I got to tell you about, but I'll tell you that, sorry, listeners, but I'll tell you this off the air because I don't want the person who this will be good for to hear. So remind me to tell you this after we get off the air.
Okay, okay.
Because I took the card for this. This is perfect. So there was Sean Astin, I think, was like the headliner. He was over there, and they actually had you could see in the background of my picture with David Howard Thornton, where you see like the Stranger Things living room. They had a little mini living room set up that later on, like, that you could take a professional picture with Sean Astin in.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of funny. Yeah, so they had that set up. But, of course, once we made our way through the floor, I figured I wanted to go make sure we got to David right away as soon as we could, because I know he had a professional thing set up, at a certain time. So we went to see him, and we were talking. And I tell you, though, as nice as he is, you hear him on, you see him on different interviews and the way he acts on social media, he's even better in person. He's just such a guy. You just can talk to him. I was going to say like a regular person. I mean, of course he is a regular person, but he's just so humble and such a great guy. We ended up getting into we went on 5 different tangents, including at one point we were talking about Red Dead Redemption. And by the way, I told him once we get, I don't have that game, but once I get I'm eventually going to get a PS4. I know it's 3 years late, but once I get that, I told him we'd have to go on and play in Red, because I guess they're doing some kind of multiplayer.
Yeah, they just did the multiplayer for it. I don't own the game yet. It's one of my Christmas list things, but I'm definitely going to get it. I love the first one.
And you have a PS4 too, right?
Yeah, I've got a PS4 and an Xbox. I haven't decided which one I'm going to get it for yet. But
get it for PS4 because that's what he has, and then we can play.
Okay, sounds good. I'll play Red Dead Redemption with Art the Clown.
Kidding? Right? Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I met the guy that did the voice for the original, the first Red Dead Redemption, the main guy.
Oh, really?
I met him at a con. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So he was saying, he was telling us, we were talking about that and how he was playing that. But one of the coolest conversations we had that totally went off on, I don't even remember how we got started on it. But what I was thinking of is your brother Kevin would have flipped out. We went into a 20-minute conversation on Dick Tracy, on how underrated the movie was.
Yeah, oh my God.
And how much we loved it. And basically how we were saying how they should, we were talking about how there should totally be a modern day TV show of it. Not obviously take place in the time period, but a new show, with all the shows and resurgence of old IPs. Why have they not done that with
you're right.
Dick Tracy? And I even said, I'm so who would you play in this? And he said he could see himself as 88 Keys and then the guy that was with him, he's hey, I could see his Mumbles too. And I'm
Mumbles.
Yeah. I said he could basically play everyone. I said, and I basically said, we should play just a game. What can we cast David in?
Yeah.
Because he'd be perfect in so many things. So yeah, so we had oh my God, we were talking about Dick Tracy for literally 20 minutes. It was great because it's one of his favorite movies, and I was saying that was one of mine, and I even said I told him, oh yeah, Tim's brother is he loves it and stuff, and he had, remember that thing I gave Kevin, that book?
Yeah.
That he had that, and we were talking about that book even.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he knows his stuff too, because he was saying I remember you could never get the blank figure.
Oh no,
it was always hard
you
to
never could get that one.
Yeah, so it was really hard to get. So yeah, he's just an awesome guy. And I told him, I said, we got to keep in touch. And I don't know if I can announce it, but I told you kind of he said about some kind of upcoming thing that could where you'll be able to get to probably hang out with him. So
yeah, definitely next con he's doing that I'm able to get to, I will definitely be going, because I do want to meet him in real life, in person.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, you got to see him. And obviously, I shared the picture on social media where he puts on his hat and he gets the You know, he brings out his little horn. So, and I think he said one of the shows he's coming up on. I hope I'm not spoiling anything. I won't name the show just in case it's unofficial. But he does say that there's a couple of shows he has planned where he will be possibly in full Art the Clown attire, which would be epic.
Yeah,
it would be awesome. Epic. Yeah, and Julie actually enjoyed talking to him too, because she was like, because she's seen Terrifier, but she didn't get to, she wasn't on the interview, so she didn't know how. Like, she was like, "Wow, he's so nice," and I'm like, "Yeah." I say he's like the greatest guy. So yeah, David, if you're listening, thanks again. It was great to meet you in person. And we're obviously big fans, so always keep in touch with us. And Tim, I may even have a surprise for you from that show that I picked up.
Intriguing.
Which may be coming your way towards the end of the season here. So yeah, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Well, speaking of gift giving, we're going to be doing our second annual Civil War Holiday Gift Guide. And we decided we had so much stuff. Brian busted his tail on this thing. It's amazing. So we had so much stuff. We're going to move that to its own mini-sode. It was originally going to be part of this first chop. But I think we're going to make that our little bonus mini-sode coming out. And I don't know exactly what date it will drop, but we'll keep you guys posted on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, we'll try and get it out obviously early next week, because actually if it comes out too late, then it's pretty much all for naught.
Right, yeah. No, it'll be early enough for you to get some shopping done.
Yeah. So basically, Cody, you're going to get 2 episodes in a week.
There you go. Yay. Yeah.
You've asked for that. You always said you wanted a Civil War every. Well, no, you didn't say every day, but I know you.
God, nobody could listen to us every day.
Yeah, I don't even know how our wives do.
I'm surprised people have listened to us once a week. Honestly,
yeah, so. that is a stretch.
All right, so well, let's get right to it. We got a pretty lengthy discmemberment, so let's get right to it. Our discmemberment.
Wait, no, please, God, no, don't cut off my...
All right, these are the Blu-ray releases for December 11th, 2018. First up, we'll just give you a 4K title that's being released. These are really becoming popular now. The 4K TVs are like $5.
I know, really. And I should have put that on the holiday gift guide. I'm like, hey, you might as well throw in a 4K TV.
It's like they give them away at 7-Eleven with a big gulp.
It is. It's like it'd be a stocking stuffer now. They're so cheap.
Like trying to fit a 50-inch Samsung inside of a stocking. Yeah.
No, you'd have to get one of those giant inflatable stockings that you put out on the lawn, but you just carve it open. So it
was funny. I was standing in line talking to somebody the other day. We were talking about how cheap they are, and I was like, "You almost can't afford not to buy one." He was like, "I know."
What are you guys doing an ad for the store?
I don't know. But it's ridiculous. It's like, I mean, especially if Best Buy's going to do that stupid Super Bowl deal, they give you 3 years financing on a $500 TV. Come on, jeez.
And you know the only reason why I have not bought it yet, because then I'm I just got to the point of where I think I've probably replaced all the real movies I wanted from DVD to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Am I going to feel compelled now to start buying the more expensive 4K movies?
I'm not. I've already decided I'm not, because the 4K Blu-rays are just ridiculously overpriced right now. I can't justify that. No way.
And you know what? And it's and the thing is, it's not and even I noticed the steelbooks now they're $5 more just to get the case.
Yeah, no.
So it's and so almost every 4K thing now comes in a steelbook. So it's you're looking at $35 for a movie.
But it's diminishing returns. I mean, it's not like Blu-ray to 4K is the same jump as VHS to DVD.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's noticeable on the TV if you have, but it's I'm fine with what I have.
Right. It's not like Blu-ray is bad.
Picture. No. Yeah.
So
it's still good.
All right. So next up, that was Evil Dead 2 4K release. Next up is, this is a great disc, Maniac from 1980, 3-disc limited edition by Blue Underground, who I wasn't sure if I'd heard of before. But
I think that's a new one for us.
Maybe.
If we had a bell, we could.
But they're coming out with a bang, because it's a 3-disc collector's set. This one's directed by William Lustig, starring Joe Spinell, Carolyn Monroe, Abigail Clayton. A psychotic man troubled by his childhood abuse, loose in New York City, kills young women and takes their scalps as his trophies. Will he find the perfect woman in a photographer and end his killing spree? This is a great movie. Brand new 4K restoration. We got featurettes, returning to the scene of the crime with William Lustig, Maniac Outtakes featurette, 2 audio commentaries, an interview with Carolyn Monroe, an interview with Tom Savini, an interview with composer Jay Chataway, interview with songwriters Michael Cimbello and Dennis McCoskey, theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, Mr. Robbie Maniac 2 promo reel, the Joe Spinell story, Maniac publicity, controversy, a bonus CD Maniac original motion picture soundtrack, and a bonus collectible booklet with new essay by author Michael Gingold. So I don't know how much this thing retails for, but that's a great stocking stuffer right there.
Yeah, I wonder if the third disc, though, is the CD, or is that like a bonus
I'm guessing
disc?
It probably is. And they probably say 3 disc and the CD. But still, that's an amazing collector's set.
I will say I'm a little disappointed there's not a interview with a film historian on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise packed disc.
But it's 1980. Yeah. It's a little bit too new to be historicalized, I guess.
Yeah, the historian's still in high school at this point.
Now, this next one, Brian, we should have had for last summer's Slaycation. Because remember,
I had to buy like a cheap version. Yeah, I had to buy like that cheap DVD version of it.
Yeah, so Shout Factory is releasing a legit Blu-ray release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. This is the infamous entry in the series starring Renee Zellweger, Matthew McConaughey, and Robert Jacks. 1994, directed by Kim Hinkle. A group of teenagers get into a car crash in the Texas woods on prom night and then wander into an old farmhouse that is home to Leatherface and his insane family of cannibalistic psychopaths.
Yeah, this one, though, I remember that horrendous, like, Leatherface.
Oh, God, I almost want to buy this.
Didn't they have the Illuminati in this or something?
Yeah, it was weird. What a weird movie. This has the theatrical cut and the director's cut. It has a new...
That's why I'm actually interested in this, though.
Yeah, for the director's cut, definitely.
Yeah.
It's got a new audio commentary with writer-director Kim Hinkle on the director's cut. Buzz is back. Interview with director of photography Levi Isaacs. An interview with actor Tyler Shea Cohn.
Steve Cohn? Oh, Tyler Shea Cohn.
Well, I'd rather have an interview with Steve Cohn on the disc. That would be cool.
I think we should add him to all the discs. Just have him come on. We could probably get him to do some of it.
If Looks Could Kill, The Return of a Chainsaw Massacre, an interview with special makeup effects artist J.M. Logan and production designer Deborah Pastor. It does list a still gallery on special features. I just read on Facebook that they do not actually have a still gallery. Their packaging got sent to the printer before the disc was finalized, so there is no still gallery.
You know what? You could just hit pause and you can make your own.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a big loss, I would think.
And I'm sure you will want many pauses to do this.
Yeah,
this movie.
So you can get up.
You're gonna need to get up and get another beer.
Theatrical trailer. So I mean, not a crazy collector's disc, but for this movie that was so hard to find, that's pretty cool.
And for this movie to put that much effort for it,
exactly.
It's bad. But yeah, no, actually, this is actually a pretty decent disc for this movie. I'll definitely add it. And I got it because now that I think you can get, I think Leatherface, the original Leatherface movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, you can get on Blu-ray now. So now you can have all of them on Blu-ray. Finally. This marks like a very big milestone.
And
in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This has kind of been a black mark on Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey's career. But I was reading that Shout Factory actually went to Matthew McConaughey personally and begged him to see if they could get the rights to this movie, and he finally relented and said, all right.
I bet, yeah. Well, you know what? He was actually really good at it.
He really
remember?
was. You could tell he was going to be a star.
Was like, see, he's like, he's like that, like, he has those McConaughey performances. Like, kind of, Nicolas Cage has. But, yeah, like, this was a classic McConaughey performance.
It really was.
This is, like, the one you, like, the one memes are made out of, It's like...
Next up, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 from 1987. This is another Shout Factory release. They released that excellent edition of the first movie. This one doesn't have an action figure with it, though.
I thought I did. I thought I saw a version that does have one with
the
it.
part 2?
I thought so. I don't know if it's the same figure they released.
Maybe that's
it might be the same figure, but it was like, maybe it was just in. You know how sometimes they, I don't know what is Amazon or whatever site I was looking at. Sometimes has like a mix up.
Yeah.
They'll show the image because it was the image I saw. I don't think I saw it listed as a figure. It just showed the picture, so it may have just been a misimage.
Well, this one's released by Shout Factory, directed by Lee Harry, starring Eric Freeman, James Newman, and Elizabeth Keitan?
Oh yeah, she was the one in. She's been in Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Parts. She was in New Blood 7.
All right, now
she's been in some stuff.
Spoiler alert on this synopsis.
Yeah. Right.
The now adult Ricky talks to a psychiatrist about how he became a murderer after his brother Billy died, which leads back to Mother Superior. So spoilers for the first movie.
Yeah. Look out, Mother Superior.
Yeah, and also don't watch the Happy Death Day 2 trailer if you haven't seen the first one. Brand Day 2.
Oh, right.
That was I just watched that for the first time, the trailer yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, they really did that.
Yeah, they don't really.
Like,
they definitely don't. They basically assume you've seen the first one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I can't wait for that. By
It
the
looks
way,
really
though.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has a brand new 2K remaster of the film from an archival theatrical print, a new audio commentary with director Lee Harry, actors Eric Freeman and James Newman, new Sleigh Bells Ring Again featurette, Story of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, new Garbage Days are here again, a look at the film's locations, a new short film, Ricky Today, featuring a 2018 interview with Ricky Chapman Caldwell, new I Don't Sleep interview with makeup effects artist Christopher Biggs, and an audio commentary previously released by co-writer-director Lee Harry, co-writer Joseph H. Earl, and actor James Newman, and a theatrical trailer. So, I don't know. I have not seen this one, actually. I've not seen any of the Silent Night, Deadly Night sequels. But, it was like a pretty decent disc for this movie.
Yeah, I still think the funniest thing ever was that, was Mickey Rooney, remember, was so outspoken about the first one, should never be released in this, and then he goes and stars in the fifth one.
That's pretty
it's
funny.
Like usually by the fifth one, it's like, talking about the dredge of the franchise here.
He was probably senile by the end. I mean,
yeah. I realize we've never listed this as a possible summer slaycation.
We
and
probably
it technically could be.
Yeah.
It's 5.
That's a decent franchise there.
I mean, I find it odd to be doing this franchise, though, in the middle of summer. But why not, right?
Yeah, I don't see it. Next summer's packed. We
already actually remember I made that file.
Yeah.
So here's a little behind the scenes thing. So one day I was home, it was a couple of weeks ago, and it was the same day I basically did the holiday gift guide. I basically did a lot of, because Tim does a lot of the heavy lifting of this podcast, because he does all the editing, and he usually sets up the a lot of the stuff on the rundown, and he does all that digging of the thing. So hats off to Tim, by the way. But yeah, so I felt like I wanted to really help him out, so I spent like pretty much all day on the computer. I set up a Civil Gore calendar with scheduling, and I did I made a bunch of files with ideas, and I did a whole file of possible movies for Summer Slaycation, and we basically have like enough for like 5-6 years.
We really do. I was blown away by that list. Like, I was like, oh my god, there was stuff on there I had never thought of that was brilliant.
Yeah, we even have one that could possibly literally be the entire Summer Slaycation.
Yeah,
which we'll probably wait for a while on that one, because I'm not looking forward to that one at all. But I'm not even going to mention it. But I'm sure if you deduce enough, you can probably figure it out based on the way our summer slaycations go. But so we have a lot. That's a series I actually look forward to it. I think it's a really fun way to get to an entire series of movies, and it gets you to see a lot, kind of, because there's some series where you just ended up not seeing the end.
Yeah.
You didn't see through it, and this way you get the whole thing.
I like how you get to see an overview of the series and see how the movies compare to each other. You don't get to see that if you're doing these things individually. By the time we did Texas Chainsaw 3, who's gonna, it's gonna be harder to go back and talk about how that relates to Texas Chainsaw 2 or 1 even, because there's so much time has passed between you watching these. But in these, we're like watching them back to back to back to back. So you kind of get this neat perspective on it. So yeah, I really like that series.
Yeah, even the ones that were like somewhat like draining, like the Hellraiser ones, because it was just so many and some were so bad. But like, I'll tell you where really like doing the Child's Play was, oh my god, that was one of my favorite ones, actually, because remember there were a couple there that I hadn't seen and some I hadn't seen in so long. So to watch them all like that in a row, just you could really, really appreciate.
I have a feeling
franchise.
Phantasm's going to be that way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And the funny thing is too, is like right around when we were doing that was, I think, when they were starting to kind of mention the new Child's Play movie, and it just shows that like what a bad idea that one is compared to the brilliance of Don Mancini's original series. You know?
Yeah.
So I just.
All right. Well, next up we have kind of maybe an underappreciated gem from Mr. Toby Hooper, The Mangler from 1995, a Shout Factory release starring Robert Englund, Ted Levine, and Daniel Matmore. A laundry folding machine has been possessed by a demon, causing it to develop homicidal tendencies. So this
is that like Maximum Overdrive spinoff? Is that in the Maximum Overdrive
pretty
universe?
much, yeah. Brand new 4K remaster struck from the camera negative for the uncut version. So it is the uncut version, which is cool. New audio commentary with co-writer Stephen David Brooks. A new interview with actor Robert Englund, which I think that'd be worth.
Wait, and it says Hell's Bells. Wasn't that an AC/DC song?
Oh yeah, that used to be Olivia's ringtone actually.
Yeah, so wait a minute. So now we have another movie about inanimate objects coming to life.
You're right.
Could we have a hidden wink, wink, nod, nod, like universe of Maximum Overdrive in the Mangler?
Rare behind-the-scenes footage, theatrical trailer, TV spot. Yeah, I think there's some Maximum Overdrive love going on here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, but for your Toby Hooper completist, that's a great release right there.
Oh yeah.
Fiend from 1980. This is released by Massacre Video, directed by Don Dohler, starring Don Liefert, Richard Nelson, and Elaine White. I mean, the names have been pretty kind to me this week, Brian.
Oh no, don't worry, because this is my turn. Because when you get to the beer pairing and we get to a movie with Finnish people in it. That gets.
So this low budget feature, I'm glad they just say that right out. This low budget feature from Baltimore filmmaker Don Dohler opens with a spirit entering into a gravesite and reanimating a corpse back to life as Mr. Longfellow. In order for
is that some kind of phallic reference?
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, hello, come meet Mr. Longfellow. He resides in my pants. It's like.
My mind is taken up with the imagery of Mr. Longfellow now, and I can't finish the paragraph.
I'm sorry.
In order for him to stay alive, he needs to absorb the life energies out of the living by wrapping his hands around his victims' throats.
Wait a minute, it says Victoms.
Victoms.
Is it Tom's throat?
He moves to the suburbs of Maryland, where his nosy neighbor begins to suspect something ain't right with Mr. Longfellow.
Now I have this image of, like, Mrs. Arkmonic from, like, Alf coming over and, like, this guy sitting there talking to his pants, like, Mr. Longfellow, you've been naughty. And then this woman, like, oh my God, he's talking to his pants. It's like.
That sounded like Marge mixed with Edith Bunker.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that voice from. It was definitely not Mrs. Arkmonic. Yeah. I do an Edith Bunker voice, but now I don't do a Marge, so maybe I can start developing that one.
Or we should do, like, a Marge Bunker impression.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure they be friends.
This one's Death Ship from 1980, released by Scorpion Releasing, directed by Alvin Rakoff, starring George Kennedy.
All right.
Well, good old George Kennedy. I love him.
I love George Kennedy in anything.
Richard Crenna and Nick Mancuso. A mysterious ghostly freighter rams and sinks a modern-day cruise ship whose survivors climb aboard the freighter and discover that it is a World War II Nazi torture vessel. Do they have Nazi torture vessels? Is that a real thing? Because it sounds pretty cool. Not the Nazi part, but the torture vessel part sounds cool.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, I would have. I mean, it must be based off of something similar. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it kind of sounds like another movie I saw though that wasn't called Death Ship.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
This has a new 2016 2K scan of the original camera negative, which features the longer cut with the deleted scene included.
Is this like the theme of this week's Dismemberment? The camera negative?
Yeah, like the scans are off of the camera. It must be the new buzzword in the marketing department.
It must be. Yeah, it's like people are just getting bored with this original print.
Yeah, because everyone has
phrase. Let's think of something else.
Yeah. New 5.1 surround sound, an audio commentary with director Alvin Rakoff. I don't know why I like saying his name, like Rakoff.
Yeah, I know. You like to really.
You know what I'm thinking of is Happy Gilmore, where he's like, jackass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, jackass. That's right.
Like, Rakoff. Featurette including interviews with George Kennedy, Nick Mancuso, Jack Hill, Alvin Rakoff, and more.
Yeah.
You can play the movie in Nightmare Theater mode, whatever that is.
What is that?
I don't know. It sounds cool though.
Yeah.
Reversible Blu-ray art in a theatrical trailer. We gotta look that Nightmare Theater mode. That's the second movie I've seen with something like that on it.
Yeah, that, and we still got to figure out the reason behind this reversible art.
Yeah.
I almost said reversible theater art. I combined the two things. That'll be the next one, Reversible theater mode.
So next one up, this is your guest work, Brian. I did not put the synopsis
you're right.
in.
You wrote Make Brian Guess.
Yeah, Make Brian Guess. Okay, so this is called Await Further Instructions. It's from 2018. It's from MPI Media Group, directed by Johnny Kevorkian, starring Sam Gittins. And I had a joke about like get while the getting's good, but I just couldn't make it work. So, I'm going to spare you guys. Nirja Nake and Abigail Cruttenden. So this one wins the name competition.
Yeah, there's your names.
So what is this about, Brian? It's await further instructions.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's about some sort of group of people that are kind of like in some kind of bunker or kind of abandoned like little office outpost something where they're like, maybe it's just a handful of people and it's really like a lonely job and they're in there. And I guess I'm kind of thinking some ominous message comes across, basically telling them that something is going to happen, but they don't know what yet, and they need to, pun intended, await further instructions.
Oh, you did really well. You did really well.
I did?
Yes.
I'm close?
Okay, you're very close. So here's the actual summary. It's Christmas Day, and the Milgram family wake to find a mysterious black substance surrounding their house. Something monumental is clearly happening right outside their door, but what exactly? An industrial accident? A terrorist attack? A nuclear war? Descending into terrified arguments, they turn on the television, desperate for any information. On screen, a message glows ominously: stay indoors and await further instructions. As the television exerts an ever more sinister grip, their paranoia escalates into bloody carnage. I thought you did pretty well there.
Yeah, I guess the one thing I kind of had it more of an isolated group, but I guess it's the entire town.
No, it's a family. It's a family.
Oh, but is it just their house that gets
just their
affected?
house. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was close. Okay,
close,
so I was kind of close. Yeah. You know what it almost sounds? It almost reminds me of almost like a smaller version, a scale version of The Mist.
Yeah, and I was also thinking of Cloverfield Lane.
Oh yeah. That's true, yeah.
Kind of, so.
To more modernized, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, I did much better this time.
Yeah. I was going to do Ice Cream Man, but I thought you might have seen that one, so because that's a Clint Howard.
Yeah, I think, Clint Howard, yeah. I think I haven't seen it in a while, but I've seen it.
Yeah, so actually, Await Further Instructions does have cast and crew interviews, storyboards, and concept art. So, next up is Ice Cream Man, 1995, Vinegar Syndrome, directed by tall Norman.
He might be tall, we don't know.
As opposed to short Norman. Directed by Paul Norman, and as Norman Apstein. Or Apstein.
What does that mean? Why did he not like this movie so bad? He wanted
took
to
his name off of it. But this is starring Clint Howard, Justin Isfeld, and Andy McAfee.
I wonder when this came out, right? I mean, I believe IMDb's been around for some time. I think it was around in 95. So did they not think people would discover him as who he is?
I know.
Because IMDb doesn't hide anything. They
will find out, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you could be Norman Epstein all you want. You're going to be caught.
So the synopsis is, poor Gregory. After being released from the Wishing Well Sanatorium, all he wants to do is make the children happy. So Gregory reopens the old ice cream factory, and all the unappreciative brats are reprocessed into the flavor of the day.
He obviously did not, was not rehabilitated well.
I need to see that one because that's Clint Howard. You got to see it.
Yeah. I saw it a while ago. I think it was on. It used to be on one of the Cinemax or something. I think it was on one of the channels. I remember, and it's as Clint Howard as you expect.
Yeah. No theatrical releases this week, so let's get right into our main feature. This is Rare Exports from 2010. You may also hear it as Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale, I believe.
Yes.
And let's murder some Finnish names here. We got directed by Jalmari Helander, starring Jorma Tomila, Oni Tamila, and Pieter Jacobi.
So I guess are they really father and son? That played father and son in this, I would assume, right?
I don't know.
Unless Tamila is a common last name, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't. I mean, you couldn't tell, but the kid looked young, but he had such an expressive grown-up face.
Yeah, he was great. The kid was great in this. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked small. He may have just been small, but he was really good. His expressions on it were cracking me up. It was just he seemed so ahead of his age.
Yeah, he really did. He might have been. He might have been one of those child actors that's a little older, but they play younger kind of thing. Let me do the synopsis real quick. In the depths of the Korvantenturi Mountains, 486 meters deep, lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up. This Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. So this is a Finnish movie. I believe it was a Finnish director. I think it was filmed in Norway. And
Yes.
man, Brian, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before. I love like Nordic stuff.
Oh no, I do too.
I like
It's-
Norway, Sweden. Like I love that whole vibe they got going on there. I don't know why. Like I like their music. I like their what's the girl with the dragon tattoo stuff? That was all like from up there.
Oh yeah,
I think.
yeah. And I used to I remember that's why I was so annoyed with. I know it was a money reason, but when Disney, Disney World made Epcot. It took Norway really, and they made it frozen when it used to be just that Maelstrom ride.
Yeah, yeah.
I was so annoyed because that was one of my favorite attractions. It was just a small attraction in the scope of a Disney attraction because it really had nothing attached to it but the country itself. But remember, Epcot didn't have many rides in the World Showcase.
Right, yeah.
So that was a cool one, and I loved just the whole thing. I mean, I have to say, after the first time, I never really stayed for the little video at the end that you could watch. But I just loved that thing. You can go to that bakery and get a Kringle.
Yeah.
And it was just,
awesome.
I love that. That's one of my favorite spots in Disney World.
I don't know why I'm like attracted to that whole thing. Like, I guess because those, you hear about Sweden and Norway, like very progressive countries, and it just seems like they believe in magical stuff, and I don't know. I just think it's like a cool vibe up there. I don't know why, and their music.
Oh yeah, no, it's just something cool about it. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But I have to trot out my favorite Nordic pun. So are you ready for this?
I am ready.
So the pun is: why do Norwegian warships have barcodes printed on the side?
Why?
So they can scan the Navy in.
Oh my god! Okay, so I'll give you mine that I have. That's probably I mean, this may have been a joke someone else said, but I think I made it up. So bear with me and be kind. So I said, why do Finnish people believe the devil is directly below the ice?
Why?
Because of Helsinki. It's terrible.
Oh. And we just lost our entire...
Yeah, there we go. Our Finnish...
Finnish
They're not going to welcome Civil Gore now. We've lost that opportunity.
Oh, man.
That was pretty bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so... Anyway, I love the... I've never been there, obviously.
Yeah. I think Julie has been, actually.
But I know people that have been and loved it. Like, they just thought it was awesome. So I know it's cool. I mean, I know it's I know people that have experienced the magic.
So I think we need to just plan that as a future combo trip. We'll meet in Finland.
Yeah, Civil Gore meetup in Finland, everybody.
Yes, there you go. We're gonna do it in style.
Saving whatever currency they use over there. I have no idea. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
But I'll have to read up on. To do a little more research before
I know we're really prepared for this. We really sound like fans of the culture. We don't even know
I love that
country.
Money. I have no idea what they use for money, but
I don't know what they use for money. I don't know.
I don't actually know if I could find it on a globe, but it sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I can find it on a globe if you give me about 10, 15 minutes. I can definitely find
just
it.
Keep spinning it and keep putting it.
I know it's up north, right? It's north of the equator.
Somewhere, I know. Somewhere around there.
But anyway, so this movie is about... It's very Krampus-y, but it's not Krampus.
No, and in fact, but it's funny. So here's the thing. I think I might have discussed this when we did Krampus last year. So I think I had told a story where I used to go to in San Francisco. They used to have these on the top of the store Emporium in Union Square in San Francisco. They had these Christmas carnival every year, and they had these roof rides, literally like carnival rides on the roof. I don't know how they got them up there or whatever, but anyway, and they used to have this thing. But the coolest feature of it is they had this Santa Claus around the world display, and you'd go around, you'd see all these like really like elaborate Santa Claus mannequins in the full costumes, a little history on it. But when you got around to the end, there was something called like Evil Peter, and we used to crack up at it. And it was basically the anti-Santa Claus, and he carried a sack full of like branches that he'd smack the bad kids with. And then I think throw them in the sack. So it's very Krampus-esque, where it was like the anti-Santa Claus. But what I think this one does is, and I'm sorry if there's a spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen a movie, it's 8 years old now. Sorry, but yeah. So this is kind of like, but they make it as almost if Santa Claus was this kind of role,
right?
He wasn't the, and they actually flat out said that there's a line that oh God, what's the kid's name in it? Pieto. The names in this, I forget it. They all sounded the same to me, and I'm not trying to be
Pietari.
Pietari, yeah, that was it. Pietari, yeah, he was because it's funny, it was switched from subtitles to non-subtitles because there were some people that spoke English and some people spoke Finnish,
right.
I guess. And but yeah, and so his name, and he even flat out said, he was telling his friend, remember, he's like, no, he goes, you don't know Santa Claus, you see what it was on like the Coca-Cola bottles or something,
right? Like this is supposed to be like an ancient version of Santa Claus, yeah, and it's called, I think it's based on something called, I'm gonna murder this name too, like a Julu Puki or something like that. But
it's like some weird name that, and it's basically like, and he goes into, the funniest thing, I don't know, the thing that cracks me up is this kid, they seem like to be living in this remote section, but yet he's got like a library full of books on the history of Santa Claus in his room. He just goes, he's like pouring through these books as if, it's like one of those scenes that you'd see in another movie where they're actually at a library, and they have all the books at their disposal. Well, this kid apparently has this all in his house.
Well, his dad does have a reindeer butchery, so I mean, I guess
he does.
I guess it's like, if you're gonna be a reindeer rancher, you might have books on Santa Claus. I might just people like for Christmas they probably always give you a book on Santa Claus.
That's true, and remember they did. It seemed like the small town that they lived in was had a lot of Christmas spirit because that one guy would dress up and go to the houses and dress up as Santa Claus and kind of bring gifts to everybody. So they almost had there was like this almost little remote town that really was like a big Christmas, and like I guess the dad would bake these gingerbreads. Yeah,
well, they said that like where they lived was supposed to be like the legendary home of that thing.
True, right?
So
right.
They probably had like a kind of a not a tourist, because it was like a tourist place, but they had like a culture built up around Santa Claus or whatever there. So like Santa Claus, Indiana, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe
like where our good friends at Holiday World are.
Yeah. So kind of going through this, there's a British research team that comes in to take drill core samples on top of this mountain where this supposed Julupuki figure resides. I don't know, I'm probably killing that name, but I have to go back and watch the movie to see what it actually says.
I actually want to watch it again because I enjoyed it so much. So.
But
maybe we'll get the names for next week.
They uncover something.
Yes.
In their expedition. And so now you got the two local boys. The other kid was named Yuso or something.
I think Yuso, yeah.
And so they kind of play the role of like the kid observers who like find out all this stuff, and they're kind of investigating all this on their own type thing. Pietari's father is a little bit of a kind of a strict dad. And like we said, he's a reindeer butcher, which sounds horrible, but I guess it's probably
I know when you think for a Christmas movie.
It sounds like really terrible to us because we can't think of harming a reindeer, but that was like meat, just like cattle would be over here, I guess.
That's the way I took it, because they had like the herding stations set up, and they would, I guess, every day, like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve day, it was the day they go get the herd and to and I guess that was their livelihood because
because they're about to go bankrupt
and like apparently what they end up losing the whole flock of reindeer that they were expecting to get, and he said something along $85,000. Basically,
it was like their entire livelihood. So his dad built a trap, which is like one of those old pit traps. It has like the spikes in it, and then they cover it up.
Pig head.
And he's trying to. They're thinking wolves took the reindeer, obviously, not evil Santa Clauses.
No, that's not. Well, no, they don't.
They don't think that.
Pietari
thinks that. So, something does fall into the trap. And Pietari's dad basically sees what it is, but he kind of like makes Pietari go away because he sees that it's not a wolf that fell into the trap. And this is where the movie like really blew me away, because I thought, you're thinking, okay, well, they're going to capture the Julapuki or whatever it is, but like the Krampus type the evil Santa Claus thing. You think, okay, that's what's going to happen. They're going to capture that in the trap or whatever, and it's just this thing. But it kind of takes this weird twist where what falls into the trap is like a naked old guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is going on here? And
apparently he prefers. Oh my God, I can't speak. Apparently he prefers faces to gingerbreads.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he chooses that guy's face.
So at this point, I was like, what is this movie? Like, I thought this was like a Krampus movie, but this is like, there's like a skinny, it's not like a fat old, it's like a skinny old guy that falls into this trap. And
but I have to say though, that's what was so great about it, the build up to it.
Right.
Like it just kept building and building, and you were like, where is this gonna go? What's happening? And the pacing for this is like a work of art if you think about it. It was so well paced,
right,
to the point of where it was just enough to get you like you couldn't wait to see what happened in the next scene. But yet, if you look back at it, it was really slow and deliberate, but it worked for this type of movie.
Yeah, it really did. You're right, because it never felt slow or boring. Like it felt like really kind of breakneck in terms of the pacing, but everything built and built and built up to this. So let's see what else they do. They bring the old man they find in the trap. He brings him back to the slaughterhouse to figure out what they're going to do with this guy. And the old man bites off the dude's ear.
Yeah, so I think at that point he kind of knows what go, because to go back a drop in this, him and his friend Yuso, they kind of had like cut through the fence.
Yes, which
kind of allowed what they thought were the wolves. So he had this whole guilty conscience through it, and his friend's like, "Don't you dare say it! You're gonna don't you get us in trouble," kind of thing. But so now in poor Pitari's like mind is he now believes that he's let loose this Santa Claus, and because he was a bad kid by basically destroying his father's business and possibly the town's livelihood here, that now Santa is is coming for all the kids,
right? And at this point, as a viewer, you're thinking this is the folkloric Santa Claus,
right? You think that they've caught him?
Yeah,
now.
They've caught him.
And
this is the evil Santa Claus that they're talking about.
Right. And then, it's funny. Then, and then you think about it. They find out something which you're looking at. You're like, this makes no sense. They basically, the cops come because Pietari, basically runs to the cops, because he knows something's wrong and he wants to get help. And he calls all his friends and they're all missing. And then he even goes to Yuso's house and he's missing. Right. And just like a straw figure of him in the bed, and his dad's like, he just ran out to talk to the girls, and he, and like the cops like, oh yeah, all the kids do. We used to do that, and we used to hide and sneak out. But Terry's he's not buying it. He's like, no, I know what happened. Something's wrong. And the guy, the cop drops a line which seems so kind of weird and kind of throwaway at the time, but but it basically leads to this finale they're building up towards. He says all the radiators in the town have been ripped out of the walls from the houses, and there's one guy's like, yeah, and they stole my wife's hairdryer. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the heck? And the guy says, and then one guy comes up and he goes, yeah, and they raided my barn and with all my sacks of potatoes, and he goes, oh, they took all the potatoes? He goes, no, just the sacks.
Yeah.
So you're like, what the hell is going on
here? But now
I'm like, who's doing this? Because the guy, they kind of give you a hint, but you're like, the guy that you think is just causing all this is sitting in the slaughterhouse, tied up.
Right. You're like, what the heck is going on here? But then you start getting the big reveal, and this is what blew me away with this movie.
Right.
So now you find out that the sacks were actually used to capture Yuso and his friends. And the naked old man is not just one man, it's many of them. Yeah. And these are actually Santa's elves.
Yeah.
So,
and they're not like the cute little elves
no.
that you see in movies. They are just as creepy as can be.
And let me tell you, this movie has more man sack than the Christmas Chronicles. This is
it does.
It's got a lot of nude old men in it.
This is not a pleasant happy Kurt Russell sack. No, this is these are old wrinkly sack. Coming at you.
Yeah, a lot of it. So now I was like, well, if these are the elves, what the hell is Santa Claus? And then you get this big reveal of, now this is where I get the Krampus comparison, because this thing that is encased in ice looks a lot like your typical depiction of Krampus with the big horn things coming out. And this thing is massive. Like it's an airplane hangar.
And I'll tell you, that reveal, when you see him standing there, like when they see him hanging there in the block of ice, and you see why they now stole these radiators, so they're literally trying to defrost him. It's crazy, but it's such a build up to such a great reveal.
Right, because this whole time you're expecting just this typical evil Santa or a Krampus-like monster, and they're going to capture it, and it's going to get free. You think it's going to follow all the typical horror movie, Christmas movie beats, and it doesn't.
No, it's totally different. Yeah.
So now we have like the big climax scene where the elves are distracted, funnily enough, by throwing gingerbread at them. They do have a gingerbread weakness.
Right. Which is kind of cool that they kind of like, it's like there's still that Christmas lore, I guess, so to speak,
So the children are rescued. They place explosives all over, and they call it Santa Claus in the movie. Like, that creature is Santa Claus. So they place explosives all over him. I think they even cut his horns off and get the hell out of there. So
and Pietari's like the big hero in this thing. He steps up. Yeah,
because you think early in the movie, you think like he's just kind of an a-hole to his kid and kind of this like. But he actually turns out redeems himself.
No, I meant the kid himself.
Oh.
The little kid. He becomes like a huge hero in this thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was thinking of...
remember, he's like swinging.
His dad's name is Pieperinen or something. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's like close.
Yeah.
It's very close, yeah.
Yeah. So they escape. They blow up Santa Claus. And there's a funny little twist ending I guess we'll give away. But it's kind of cool because it does tie into the name of the movie.
And the prequel, so and the short stories. Sorry, this was based off a short story, and basically this is the prequel. This movie is kind of the prequel to these short movies.
Yeah, so all of these evil elves, I guess, are being rehabilitated to become mall Santas. and trained and captured, and then they are literally exported all over the world to be the mall Santas that you know and love today. So. At the very end, you find out why this movie is called Rare Exports, because every crate is stamped Rare Exports.
And it's brilliant, because they're saying, like, who wouldn't want, like, the Santa Claus from the real place, the birthplace of Santa Claus. You can get an authentic man. Like, they literally profit from it. That's their new business. Like, they gave up on slaughtering reindeer. Now they're going and they're literally rehabilitating these 1,000-year-old Christmas elves. Yeah. And it's funny, the little training sequence is so short, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, because you think like these weird old naked guys, and they're like trying to train them to like be mall Santas, which is kind of creepy in itself. But
I noticed they did not pack instructions with them though.
No,
like they said, make sure you have plenty of gingerbread.
Yeah.
And, it's like, and I kind of feel bad. I know the father gets a bad rap because he's kind of stern, but you could tell he really loves his son, though. Like, he's still trying to hold together. I guess, obviously, they implied the mom passed away.
Yeah.
And so he's been trying to run this business, which seems to be pretty influential, not only for his livelihood and his son's livelihood, but the town's livelihood.
Yeah, I guess
so. And but yet he's still the whole time trying to keep the Christmas spirit alive and of course, like so he's trying to trap the Santa Claus, so he literally, like, the father tries to light a nice Christmas fire, and the thing comes and almost hits him in the head. That little trap that he set up there. But he's trying to cook the gingerbreads, and I thought it looked like a turkey or something in there, some kind of meat that burnt.
Yeah.
So all they had literally was gingerbreads, and it's such a sad thing because you could tell like Pietari wants like a pet, and all he's got is that like stuffed dog on a leash he's walking around with. It's like a very sad existence, but you could tell though that, it's funny in a movie like this you wouldn't think that there's this kind of thing in there, but you could see that the father really does care about him. He cares about his son. He's always trying to protect him.
That's what I like about this movie. Like, there's some heart to it. I mean, it's not like these two-dimensional characters. Like, the father is stern, but he kind of has to be because he has to keep the family business running. And safe. He has to keep his son safe. But you can tell he really loves him, but he doesn't really, it's kind of one of those dual. I think all dads kind of struggle with that. Is like you got to really love your kids, but at the same time, you can't just let them get away with murder either. And you kind of have to be stern. You don't get to have the dad dynamic is different than the mom dynamic a lot of times. It's just kind of a different vibe. So, and you that came across in this movie.
Yeah, no, and especially because it's like they're living in an area where literally, like, if he's not paying attention, he could literally get picked off by a wolf.
Yeah, true. I mean, you have to look at where they're living. Yeah,
it's not like they're living in a like a nice suburbia.
Yeah.
So it's like, but one more thing before we go. Did you notice the car that they owned?
No.
It was a Fjord Explorer.
Oh God. Oh.
Okay. Talk about being finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I think we are finished for sure.
Sorry. All right. So I came up with 2 doozies. I guess that's my finished.
That was pretty good.
For the day.
That was actually pretty good. I have one little piece of trivia we'll throw in there from IMDb, but Brian Green's passport number is 314159265, which you math nerds will know is the first several digits of pi. So.
Yeah, and just so you know, Brian Green, he was the elf, because I guess he had a driver's license with him, or like a wallet. That part I didn't understand.
Weird. Yeah, that was a little weird.
That I don't get unless they literally, maybe the elves have just been summoned over time. I don't know. That's the one part I didn't
like they're
quite
real
get.
people that, or was that
like they were
made?
real people?
I don't know. Well, I'll have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I mean. Because listen, it does not take away from the movie in any way. Because it was. I got to tell you that it really is one of my favorite horror holiday movies I've seen.
Because it's so different. It's really a unique story for a Christmas horror movie. It's a different country, so you get kind of that different perspective. It's not like one of the Hollywood movies that come out, So I really like that.
Yeah, no, I mean the effects that they needed were good.
Yeah.
The acting was way better than I would have thought. And for like what you might look at it and pass by as like a cheesy B movie, which it's not, I don't think.
No.
And it's good for once a slow deliberate build up. I don't mind slow deliberate build ups when it has a big payoff. Kind of like a lot of people, The Witch, they didn't have it was too slow moving and deliberate, but it had a payoff. When it has a good payoff at the end, you really can appreciate that slow deliberate build up because it's there for a reason.
Yeah, but like I said, this never felt slow though.
It didn't.
It was just a deliberate build up, but it wasn't a slow build up. I don't think.
Right. I don't mean and I didn't mean slow a derogatory way. Just meaning like it's methodical.
Yeah, it's
right
very
word.
deliberate.
Yeah.
It's a great film. So highly recommend Rare Exports. Add it to your list of annual Christmas horror watching. I don't think you will be disappointed. It's a great movie.
No, and I believe it's on Shudder and Amazon Prime and Hulu.
Yeah, it is. I watched it on Hulu actually. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's on both. Oh, and I do have my Hulu subscription now. Did I tell you that?
No.
Because I took advantage of that Black Friday Cyber Week sale they had where it was 99 cents a month for a year.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
So it was only for new subscribers, and I had never got around to getting it.
That's
so
a great
I signed
deal.
up for it. So, for $12 basically for one whole year. And since I'm not paying for Netflix because of our cable package until like 2020, I'm literally getting like the best streaming deals on the planet
awesome.
Earth.
All right, so Brian had a really good beer pairing. I'm going to let you pronounce these names this time.
Yeah, here's where all the Tim trauma of trying to pronounce these names have come to my plate at this point. So I figured I'd have to go. I did this a little different. I wanted to theme it not so much the movie itself, but the environment. So I literally looked up. I wanted to get a good Finnish beer.
Okay.
And so the one I got is now. I apologize if I swear to God, I think this is the character from the movie, but. Pinnakin Papan Vanilla Stout is the name of it. Vanilla Stout was written as one word. And the brewery is Pinnakin Brewery in Rauna Pere Hallintopokaliko. I probably butchered that.
It's actually pronounced Melikomikiwaka.
I know. I think that's what it is. Seriously. And they were like little, the two semicolons over the A's that I think I left out when I typed it, just because I'm like, I'm gonna.
I actually butchered it as Melakaliki Maka. right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Yep. That means,
I totally butchered the joke, but that's okay.
Yeah, come on, you're gonna have to watch Christmas Vacation.
Oh my god,
again.
I just watched it like 2 days ago,
and you
I
still
butchered
Aw,
it. That's one of
Tim.
my favorite Christmas songs too. Jeez.
I know, I love that one. Yeah.
It's hard to do
anyway,
when you're
yeah,
not
so-
singing it though.
That's true. Yeah, but just saying it, it's like
Yeah.
awkward. You don't have that rhythm.
I guess
you need
Malcolm
to
Mickey
get
Waka
into
is
it.
like Fozzie Bear's version.
Yes, yeah, waka waka, yeah. But yeah, so that's the brewery. I don't know where that is. I'm sure it's somewhere in the fjords. I don't know. But it's 6.8%, and it actually like feels like a nice beer to drink while you watch this movie. Anyway, so it's a vanilla. It says vanilla stout is a roasted smooth beer for those moments when you just need some pampering. That's nice. Everyone likes a little pampering, right? Yeah. It says enjoy the flavors of coffee and vanilla. Contains organic vanilla, so that's good. The malts are pale ale, pilsner, roasted barley, Cara, and Vena. Yeah, I always laugh. I always tease my friend Cara, which you met. Yeah. She comes together. Yeah, I always tease her that they made a malt after her. But and there's 3 hops in it. It's Challenger, Target, and Walmart. No, I'm kidding.
Those aren't great beers.
Yeah, no,
the Walmart
the Target.
hops. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but Target is the hop though. It's Challenger, Target, and Cascade Amarillo, I guess. So it said the food recommendation for this is sweet dessert.
Ooh,
so that goes with the nice gingerbreads that they make in it. And it says for more information, it says it was brewed originally for Papa Beers in Tallinn, which really offers us no more information.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so anyway, so good luck trying to find that beer. By the way,
that was a great one because that's
I'm
like a true beer pairing, like not just from a name.
Right.
It's like a true fits the mood.
It really may have been like probably the ultimate beer.
It really
pairing
was,
for this.
yeah.
But I'm sure the good thing is I'm sure you can find similar, especially around now is when stouts are.
Oh yeah.
Tons. So I'm sure you can find something similar.
Yeah. In fact, I need to go pick up some stouts because Olivia loves stouts, and I don't generally buy them because I only drink them like in dead of winter. That's the only time I'll drink a stout. And I need to go do that this year. Definitely, I need to step up my stout game this year.
Yeah, I'm a big stout guy. You know what's a good one? It's kind of like you know how we say there's those like when we can't find something, but if we see like a certain kind of I hate to say run of the mill, but like just a regular
house
old,
beer.
Yeah. Do you ever have the Fireside Chat by 21st Amendment?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. I've had that several times. That's a really good one, especially if you get it on draft, like at a nice like cozy pub or something.
Yeah, that fits.
That's a good one.
21st Amendment. They kind of fit in that little. They fit in that category to me of like.
I love some of their stuff. I really love their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So we do have a 6 degrees of decapitation for you this week. Now, last week we asked you to connect Nancy Parsons to Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory. Nancy Parsons was in Pennies from Heaven with Steve Martin. And I had totally forgotten this, and my kids watch this movie all the time. But Steve Martin was in Home with Jim Parsons. Obviously, that's an animated feature, but he was a voice actor. So.
But I mean, I think that's fair.
Counts.
So that's still a match. Yeah. It's a credit.
Credit's a credit.
As we know in the coaster community.
So this week we're going to ask you to connect Peter Jacoby
yes.
to Lou Jacoby.
Yeah, I apologize for this one
because
because
hard. Yeah.
I really had a really slim pickings in terms of people. I didn't hear of any of these people in Rare Exports, so I was just trying to find a name match like I'd like to do. And Lou Jacoby is one of those character actors that you've probably seen a million times. He was in Amazon Women on the Moon. He was that guy that got caught in a TV show in his underwear.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that. And he kept switching the channel. And then there was he was in Avalon. He was the one that goes, you cut the turkey without me? Oh, and he goes, we're leaving. They cut the turkey without me present. So, yeah, so that was him. Yeah, he's been a million different things, so I remembered his name clearly.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, so, and believe it or not, you could do it in 3.
Yeah. Well, good luck, though. Even getting that one for 3 is tough.
Yeah, good luck at some of these other names that link that to the movies.
I don't even recognize the movies these are in.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, but yeah.
So next week, Brian, have we decided what we're going to do? I know we had tossed off an idea.
I don't know. We have a couple of them. I think we're probably, I know, well, we have 2 weeks left, basically, of 2 movies. One of them will be Red Christmas, just because I know we both love that movie.
Right.
And I think that's I would love to like watch it again and then discuss it. So that's going to be one of the 2. And we have a couple of other ones for that other one. I mean, we talked about Secret Santa. There's what's that one? All the Creatures Were Stirring. There's a lot of
There's a Christmas
there,
anthology that came out a while back that was pretty good. So we'll figure something out. Red Christmas will either be next week or the week after.
Yes, but that will definitely be by the end, because that is like, not only does our beloved Dee Wallace star in it, but it's just a great holiday
and very unique too. Very unique.
Yeah, and it's like Tim. I remember Tim had described it the same way, and he couldn't have described it more. It literally starts off as just like this, you're not sure where it's going, and then just goes batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy. So, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you back here next week. Remember, leave us an iTunes review to get entered into our Civil Gore prize pack drawing. So we'll have that coming up, or probably around I imagine we do that around sometime in January. We'll do a drawing
give
for
some
that.
people some time, especially over the holidays, where they could really like catch up on some back episodes and listen to it and really give a good review.
Yeah, so I know leaving a review on iTunes is a pain in the butt. I know it. Just go out there, do it.
Yeah.
It'll take 30 seconds to just go out there and do it. I know. I hate iTunes too, but it really, really does help the show. So.
Yeah, but regardless, Cody, don't worry. You're still getting Paul Blart too, no matter what.
No matter what.
It's going to be coming your way. So.
All right, guys. We'll see you back here next week.
Yes. And now we are completely finished.